This presentation, titled IAF CertSearch, the world's first global certificate database supporting certified supply chains, comes to us from Nigel Johnston. Nigel is the founder and CEO of Quality Trade, a database management committee participant for the International Accreditation Forum, the IAF. Quality Trade is a technology company that creates software exclusively for the accredited network to improve the integrity and value of accredited certification. Quality Trade has worked with accreditation bodies since 2013 and more recently with the IAF in developing the world's first global database for accredited certifications and the world's first trade marketplace for certified companies, which includes more than 1 million trade opportunities. Nigel's passion is helping businesses and governments develop certified supply chains which have a positive economic, environmental, and social impact. Prior to founding Quality Trade, Nigel held the role of CEO at URM Group, a multinational environmental services group. And with that, take it away, Nigel.
Thank you for the introduction, Mike. So today I'll be talking about IAF CertSearch, the world's first global certificate database, and how it supports certified supply chains globally. To start with, I'll share a little bit of information about IAF, the International Accreditation Forum. The IAF is a global association. Its members consist of government and semi-government accreditation bodies, and also regional accreditation groups, certification body associations, industry associations, and stakeholder organizations and scheme owners. All of the members of IAF are working together to provide accredited certification of management systems, product, processes, services, and personnel. The IAF is similar to the United Nations. It has government accreditation bodies from all over the world coming together to form this organization and essentially to provide oversight and governance for the industry. The objectives of IAF. Firstly, to develop and maintain multilateral recognition agreement, the MLA, amongst the global accreditation body members. All members to act as a forum to facilitate global trade. And the members develop harmonization of certification best practices to promote accredited certification, with the goal of certified once, accepted everywhere. The IAF accredited network consists of the IAF, 83 government and semi-government accreditation body members, 4,275 certification bodies who have issued approximately 1,650,000 management system certifications, millions of product and personnel certifications spanning 193 countries. This slide talks a little bit about the hierarchy of accredited certification. Essentially the oversight line. On the left-hand side, we've got the International Accreditation Forum, the IAF. They provide oversight and governance of the MLA, multilateral agreement. The next step is the accreditation bodies. They are recognized by IAF as an MLA signatory, and the role of the accreditation bodies is to accredit the certification bodies to particular standards. Once a certification body has been accredited by an accreditation body to that particular standard, they can then go and audit certified organizations to that particular standard. And on the right, if the organization has proved to meet the standards to the certification body, they receive a certification, which is an accredited certification. And this is a basic example of an accredited certificate. On this certificate, you've got the standard, the scope of the certification, the location, the date that the organization was certified, the certificate number. You've also got the logos of the certification body, the accreditation body, and the IAF. And to know that the certificate is truly valid, the certificate needs to be valid by date. The certification body needs to be accredited to issue certificates to that standard. And the accreditation body needs to be an IAF MLA signatory. Taking a step back on what's happening in the global market, global trade activity is at an all-time high. as is supply chain complexity. Demand for supply chain compliance is now also at an all-time high, and there's an increase in government regulation demanding greater transparency and compliance. Despite all of this, counterfeit trade and counterfeit and fraudulent certifications are also at an all-time high. Users, businesses and governments that is, are faced with significant risk across their supply chain and networks. It's very difficult for an organisation to have transparency across their supply chain, given the complexities of supply chains today. Amongst supply chains today, many organisations would have suppliers within their supply chain who have counterfeit certificates, expired certificates, withdrawn certificates, or even no certificates at all. So it's very difficult for them to know that suppliers in their supply chain meet the required national and international standards, posing great risk to these organisations. COVID-19 has put a spotlight on supply chains, and in particular, fraudulent activity across supply chains. This example is where a UK local government authority was seeking to purchase surgical masks for workers to protect them from COVID. The UK local government was ready to purchase, however, they just wanted to verify the ISO 13485 medical device certificate was valid. They contacted IAF CertSearch and tried to find the certificate in the database, but it wasn't there. They then emailed IAF CertSearch and we began an investigation for this user. Initially, the certification body appeared to be legitimate and accredited. However, after in-depth investigation, we discovered that the certification body was not the accredited certification body. And unfortunately, it was a fraudulent certification body who had copied the certification body, accreditation body, and IAF logos. Further investigation identified that this one particular counterfeit certification body had been issuing certificates for many years across multiple standards, selling medical devices, baby products, etc., misleading users. Some of these fraudulent organisations are going to great lengths to defraud regulators and users. The fraudulent certification bodies will create fake databases, certificate databases. So you can go and verify a fake certificate. They create apps, and many of them rank well on search engines such as Google. And unfortunately, the cases that we've identified are not an isolated case. In 2020 alone, IAF CertSearch has identified thousands of counterfeit and fraudulent certificates, as has Interpol, the European Safety Federation, and regulators such as the Therapeutic Goods Administrator. The chairman of the Global Working Harmonisation Party has also reported that through their due diligence, they see a vast number of counterfeit certificates and fraudulent certificates across their borders. So the IAF and its members have come together to develop the world's first global certificate database, IAF CertSearch. And this is to provide a single source of truth to verify certificates. So users, businesses and governments can have 100% confidence that the certificate is valid by date, the certification body has been accredited to issue certificates for that standard, and the accreditation body is an IAF MLA signatory. How the database works is that it receives data from three key sources. It receives data from the IAF about the accreditation bodies and their MLA signatories. It receives data from the government accreditation bodies on the certification bodies they've accredited and their accredited standards. And it receives data from the certification bodies on the companies they've certified. So with these three sources of information, we can ensure that the certificate is valid by date, the certification body is accredited, and the accreditation body is an IAF MLA signatory. In addition to the certificate verification services, the global database also supports users with supply chain transparency. It enables users to identify all of the certificates held by suppliers across their supply chain. It also provides real-time monitoring. If there's a change to the status of a certificate, the user can watch that certificate and be alerted in real time. The database also provides benchmarks and analytics to stakeholders. I guess a compelling aspect of the global database is that for the first time, it brings together and connects the certification body and their auditors with the users. And so, for example, if a certification body, an auditor of a certification body was on site and discovered that an organisation no longer meet the standard, they could suspend or withdraw the certificate. That information can flow from the certification body to the global database, technically via real time, and inform the user about this change. That enables the user to take the necessary action on their side. The end goal for IAF CertSearch is to help users develop certified supply chains, and at any one time know that each supplier in their supply chain holds a valid, accredited certificate, improving their supply chain transparency, reducing risk, and helping them to drive positive change and impact across their supply chains. As we all know, we're all faced with climate change challenges. Many standards bodies have gone to great lengths to develop standards to improve ESG compliance. For example, ISO has developed many standards such as environmental management systems, ISO 14001, energy management systems, ISO 50001. So companies who have been independently audited by a third-party accredited certification body can demonstrate they meet the standards and the related regulations. For example, international standards have been mapped to the UN SDGs. And now the UN SDGs have been mapped to the EU taxonomy, providing a clear path for certifications to demonstrate compliance to meet the newly formed EU taxonomy obligations. Organisations and companies looking to contribute to the SDGs and meet their obligations under new regulations such as the EU taxonomy will find that accredited certifications provide effective ways to demonstrate compliance and rise to the current challenges. The global database, IAF CertSearch, continues to grow. We have all 69 government and semi-government accreditation bodies participating, 1,142 certification bodies, and near 500,000 certifications uploaded. Governance of the database. The IAF has developed a specific committee called the IAF Database Management Committee. It includes representatives from government accreditation bodies, certification bodies, and industry. The role of the Database Management Committee is to manage the IAF CertSearch database to serve the interest of IAF accreditation bodies, certification bodies, certified entities, and industry, essentially all stakeholders. The current chair is Matt Gantley, the CEO of UCAS. I'll just walk you through a few key slides which shows what the database can do. Firstly, on the homepage, if you're seeking to verify an individual certificate, you must know the company name or the certificate number. It must be a known entity to your organisation. Once you start typing in the company name, there is a predictive search to help you find the exact organisation. The database is multilingual and can be used in many languages. Once directed to the certificate page and the organisation page, you can verify the certificates they hold and link to the certification bodies and accreditation bodies associated with those certificates. You can see the information about certification bodies and accreditation bodies and their accredited standards and MLA status. Some of the key features include the search history. So you can record all of the companies you've searched in the past. A key feature to supporting those with larger supply chains is the watch list. You can identify companies and certificates you wish to watch, add them to your watch list, categorize them, and receive real-time alerts if there's a change to the status. We've also developed a digital mark. This enables those organizations who are included in the global database to have a live digital mark that is linked to the status of their certificates. If the status of their certificate changes, the digital mark automatically is removed from their website. IAF CertSearch is currently collaborating with many organizations, including corporates, regulators, and governments. Just to mention a few case studies, one regulator that we've been working with is the Egyptian Drug Authority. They contacted IAF CertSearch to help them verify certifications. They contacted IAF CertSearch to prevent substandard and counterfeit goods entering their country and wanted to be able to verify the certificates. They were seeking to mandate that importers of medical devices would need to have a valid accredited certification included in the global database to be able to import goods into Egypt. Since then, we've received feedback from suppliers stating that their goods are being left at the port until the certificates are included in the global database. And this has led to some suppliers not being able to demonstrate they meet the relevant standards with the valid certificates, and some certification bodies reacting very quickly to have the certificates uploaded. We're also working with some large corporates. Some of the large corporates today are making commitments to achieve net zero by 2030. In order to do this, some of them are employing strategies to ensure all suppliers across their supply chains are certified to ISO 14001 environmental management and ISO 50001 energy management. The global database helps them to identify which suppliers in their supply chain have valid certifications and which organisations don't, so they can encourage those to adopt such standards. The database has received support from many organisations, in particular for the database to be fully populated. Such supporters include IATF, International Automotive Task Force, the IAQG, the International Aerospace Quality Group, TIA, Telecommunications Industry Association, the Global Food Safety Initiative, UNIDO, Department of Energy, the International Energy Agency, Natural Resources Canada, Dental Trade Alliance, Clean Energy Ministerial, and many more reputable organisations. I've also included a number of resources for you to investigate after this presentation, including links to the IAF website, the About Us pages on IAF CertSearch, and the IAF CertSearch YouTube channel where you can see a number of demonstrations, plus key stakeholder videos as well. Thank you for allowing me to present today about the exclusive global database for accredited certifications, IAF CertSearch.
Well, thank you, Nigel Johnston, for that look at the IAF CertSearch and global supply chains. And that concludes this presentation.